That's enough! Why delay? Indulge in pity? You should hate the God whom all the gods hate the most. The one who gave your prize away to mortals.
To harm my kin is dreadful, or my comrade.
This I admit. But to shock your father's words? How can you do it? Don't you feel this more?
Pitiless as ever, as I see, and ruthless.
Your whimpering for him won't cure his ills. Don't trouble over. What will do no good?
Hateful skill of my hands, I curse it now.
Why so? Your craft is not the cause of this hard labor.
Still, I wish some other had my calling.
No job is light, except to rule the gods. No one except Zeus is truly free.
I can't deny it. These things give me proof.
Then go ahead and put the fetters on him. Let's father will see you loafing here.
You'll see chains ready to be used.
Put them around his hands. Use all your strength. Strike with the hammer. Pin him to the rocks.
It's done. You see, it didn't take very long.
Hit harder. Bind him tightly. He can devise impossible escapes.
One arm is bound and will not soon come free.
The other now, strap firmly. Let him learn that all his cleverness cannot outsmart Zeus.
one can fault my work except its victim.
Now drive the keen edge of the steely spike right through his chest. Put strength behind the blow.
Prometheus, now I groan for your pangs.
What? Shrugging again? And groaning for Zeus' foes? Watch out. You'll soon be bidding yourself.
You see a sight that pains your eyes to look upon.
I see somebody getting what he deserves. Now fasten the restraints around his sides.
I do what I must do. Do not keep on orders.
I will push you. I'll shout in your ears. Go low now. Use force to bind his legs.
It's done. You see, it didn't take very much effort.
Now strike with all your force to lock the shackles. The great inspector won't be trifled with.
Such ugly words. They match your ugly form.
Better to speak more gently. It's not your place to cast insults if I'm strong-willed and tough.
I'm going now. His limbs are tightly bound.
Now go and do your work. Steal from the gods and give their prize to mortals. Your human friends, how can they help you drain this sea of troubles? The gods who named you foresight, they named you wrong. It's foresight that you lack, and you need it now to tell you how you can get out of this.
You, sacred air, and you, swift soaring winds, you, springs of rivers, and you, endless sparkling sheen of ocean waves, and you, all mothering earth, all-seeing circuit of sun, I call on you. See what I suffer, a god at the hands of gods. Worn down, outraged, I shall drag out 10,000 years of weary time. Such is the outrageous penalty the new prince of the gods has found. I groan at every pain. The one that's here, the one to come, wondering where the end of burdens lies. What am I saying? I knew what lay ahead. Knew everything beforehand. Nothing strange will ever come to pain me. I must endure my destined lot, certain that the power of necessity is too strong to be broken. I cannot keep my evil fortunes silent, yet I cannot voice them either. Such are the bonds by which I'm yoked, for giving fire to men. Yes, I did give it, hunted it, sealed it in venom, the wellspring of flame, teacher of every craft, a help for every need in mortal life. That's the crime for which I now must pay, beneath the open sky, chained to the rocks. What sound, what noiseless smell is this? Is it divine? Or is it mortal, this thing that has reached me at earth's end? What does it want? To watch me suffer? You there! Look at me! A god in chains! Foe of great Zeus! The target of hate for all the gods! Because I loved mankind too much. Whatever nears me brings me dread.
Don't be afraid. We are your friends, coming on fleets of wings to reach this place, while scarcely persuading ocean, our father. We found swift winds to bring us here, for a dreadful sound of hammered steel shot through our cave, shaking away all brave fish shame.
Children of Typhus, she who bore many, and of Father Ocean, who twists around the whole of the earth with unceasing flow. See here, how I'm pinned with chains and hold on the upper crag of this jagged cliff, a guard post none would want.
We see, Prometheus, a fearsome mist of tears has clouded our eyes as we look at your body stretched out here, baked and withered on this rock, outraged by chains of hardest steel.
Nor the steermen who hold Olympus, nor the laws by which Zeus rules. I'm Shackouls, I do not deserve the name.
What was great before, Zeus has now locked away.
Would he had buried me with them, bound me there with unbending chains in Tartarus' endless pit, or in the halls of Hades, then no god or no mortal would ever laugh over this. But no, I suffer in open air, tossed by the winds, a joy to my foes.
Who takes such joy?
What god has such a hard heart? Who wouldn't mourn instead for your pains? Only Zeus, the one who has set his mind forever against the race of Uranus.
Zeus will not cease from satisfied until he is satisfied, or until some trickster seizes his hard-won crown.
Yes, that's so. Even though I'm now disgraced, the head man of the blessed will one day need me to reveal the new design by which his staff of power will be snatched away. When that day comes, I will not yield to the spell of his honeyed coaxing words, nor bend before his iron threats. Nothing will make me tell what I know, or tell in whose hands he must fall from off his throne.
That's brave.
That's brave.
That's brave.
You don't give in to the gnawing pain.
But you speak too freely. A piercing fear stirs up my mind. A dread of where your path might lead, where you might find an end of strife and reach safe harbor.
I know Zeus is tough and gives no ground when he makes his verdicts. Even so, his heart will soften in the end when he is destroyed by what's to come. Then his temper will be soothed, and he'll look to me as ally and friend. He'll rush toward me, and I toward him.
Uncover all and tell us everything. On what charge did Zeus make you prisoner here, heaping such shame and outrages upon you?
Teach us your tale, unless it might bring you harm.
It's painful even to speak these things, but also pain not to speak them. Ill fate either way. Newly seated on his father's throne, Zeus set out to divide up spoils and to put his new reign in order. But he had no regard for the long-suffering race of man. He sought to make them disappear and to create a new race. No one opposed this plan except for me. I had the courage. I spared humankind from going to the depths of Hades. Thus I'm tortured on this rock, painful to suffer, grievous to look upon. I put men first in pity, and then found there was none left for me. I'm a spectacle that brings shame and dishonor to the name of Zeus.
Iron-hearted or made of stone are they who would not grieve, Prometheus, for your troubles. As for me, and me, I wish I'd never seen them. But having seen, I am pierced straight through the heart.
Friends, I am indeed a sight to pity.
Could you perhaps do more than what you told us?
I allowed mankind to stop foreseeing doom.
What cure did you find for that disease?
I planted in them hopes that would obscure it.
That was where the gift you gave to mortals.
There's more. I gave them fire as their companion.
So now the mortal race owns blazing fire?
Yes, and they'll learn many arts from it.
Then it's for crimes like these that you've decided.
To torture me and not relent.
Is there no limit to your struggles?
There isn't. Except whatever day he chooses.
Choose? Why would he?
What hope in that?
Don't you see that you've gone wrong?
There's no joy for me to say how wrong you've gone, and only pain for you to hear.
Let's speak no more of this.
Instead, seek some respite from your toils.
An easy thing, when standing clear of troubles, to counsel and advise with thoughtful words those outside of calamity. I know all this. I chose to go wrong, and I won't deny it. I helped humankind and brought pains on myself, but I never thought he'd give me pains like these. Hung out alone to wither upon this deserted rock. But don't grieve for present evils. Hear what's to come. Share the heavy burden of him who toils before you. For you know that pain's a wanderer. It roams, now here and now there.
What you ask, Prometheus, is what I want.
I join you on your jagged rock, for I want to hear straight to the end your tale of troubles.
I've come to you, Prometheus, at the end of a very long road. On this swift-winged bird. Know this, that I grieve your misfortunes. Kinship alone decrees this. But also, beyond our ties of blood, there is no one whom I favor more than I do you. Just say what I can do to help. You never claim a surer friend than I who stand before you. Ocean.
What's this? Have you come to gawk at pains? How did you find the nerve to leave the river that bears your name, your caves, to come here to see my misfortunes, as you say, and share my pain? Behold the sight. See how the friend of Zeus, the one who helped establish him and rule, is crippled by him under pains like these.
I see them, Prometheus, and I bring advice. What's best for you, though I know you're always scheming. Learn to know yourself and learn new ways, for new too is the ruler of the gods. If you throw down these harsh and wedded words, perhaps Zeus may hear you. Make this host of toils you suffer now seem only children's games. You must, poor wretch, give up this mood of yours and seek a way to free yourself from troubles. Perhaps my words will seem old-fashioned to you, but the wages of a too proud tongue, Prometheus, are the kinds of things you're undergoing now. You're not yet humbled. You don't yield to troubles, but always seek to add to those you have. Adopt my teachings, and you'll no longer kick out against the goads that sting you. You'll see that cruel monarchs can't be audited. Yet, I shall go to him. I'll do what I can to free you from these pains that now overtake you. Just hold your peace. Don't give your tongue free rein. With all your wisdom, you find it hard to see that useless ranting brings on punishment.
Congratulations. You stayed free of blame, and you dared to share my lot with me. I tell you, let this be. Don't let it vex you. You won't persuade him anyway. Look to your safety. Going there may harm you.
You're better at looking out for those near to you than for yourself. I judge by deeds, not words. But don't stand in the way of what I've started. I tell you this. Zeus will give what I ask. As a gift to me, will free you from these labors.
I praise this in you, and I'll go on praising. You have no lack of zeal. But save your effort. Your troubles will be in vain and will not help me, if indeed you're willing to go so far to act. Remain at peace. Don't get yourself involved. Just because I'm suffering, I don't want my sufferings to spread to each and all. My brother's fate already grieves me. Atlas, who stands in the western tracks of the world, propping up the pillar of earth and heaven with his 2 shoulders, a weight beyond all bearing. I've seen as well the earthborn one, the grim monster, the raging Typho, as he crouched in Cilician caves and pitied him, he of the 100 heads brought low by might. He fought all gods at once, hissing out terror from his fearsome jaws, light the gentle remedies with which they now ward off every disease. I showed them, too, the ways of prophecy, how to understand from dreams what was to come, or to find the hidden meanings and strange sounds or chance encounters on the paths and ways. I marked out patterns in the flights of birds and habits of each, which birds they favor, which they avoid, and which they prey upon. The things below the earth, hidden benefits for humans, namely iron, bronze, and gold and silver. Who can say he discovered them earlier than I? No one. To sum it all up in the briefest words, all arts that mortals use come from Prometheus.
But don't give mortals too much benefit while you neglect your own unhappy lot. I'm hopeful that you'll one day be set free from these harsh bonds and be as strong as Zeus.
Not yet this fate, which brings all things to pass, allow this outcome, that I flee these bonds though broken by 1,000 pains and woes. All art is weaker than necessity.
Who charts the course of this necessity?
The threefold fates and unforgetting furies.
Does even Zeus lack power over these?
You can't escape from things that are ordained.
And what is ordained for Zeus except his rule?
You'll not learn that from me.
I see. You have some holy secret?
Let's talk of something else. It's not yet time that this be spoken of. It must stay hidden as much as is in my power. If I hide it, I'll one day flee these shameful bonds and pains.
This be our prayer. May Zeus, ruler of all, never set his power against my mind. May I not be slow when I make for the gods holy slaughters of oxen by the ceaseless stream of my father ocean. May I never give offense with my words. May these prayers abide and not melt away. Sweet it is to stretch out life amid confident hopes, and to feed one's heart on bright and cheery things.
But looking at you, your countless wounds and lacerations, I shudder. You have too little fear of Zeus and too much reverence for mortals, Prometheus.
What hope is there for the help you gave?
What can mere mortals do to save you?
Didn't you see the weakness? The trance that better solve their blind race?
Their plan can never evade the orchestration of Zeus.
What place? What people? Whom do I see here? He's chained to the rocks and beaten by storms. You there! What crimes are you paying for? What land of my miseries brought me? Ah! That stinger, it sees me again! It's Argus's ghost, the earthborn monster! Get him off! Help me! It's horrible. The sight of the 100-eyed shepherd. He walks about with his magical eyes. He's dead, but he won't stay underground. He comes from below and hunts poor me, won't let me eat, drives me about across the lands of the barren shore. Wait. I hear the wax wind pipes answering me in sleep and ah! Oh, the pain! Oh, where have my far-roving wanderings brought me? Why, son of Cronus, why? What wrong did I do that you should yoke me to torments like these? And drive a wretched girl to madness and fear of the gadfly sting? Scorch me with flame, bury me alive, feed me to monsters of the deep. Only grant my prayer, O King.
Here? Yes, of course. It's the daughter of Inachus speaking. She who's driven on by the gadfly. She heats Zeus's heart with passion, and so, the target of Hera's hate, she is driven to run her unending races.
How do you know my father's name? Who are you? One wretch to another, who are you to speak so much truth about my God-sent disease, whose touches destroy me with far-roaming stings? Ah! Here I come, leaping and jerking, unable to eat an outrageous fate, a victim of Hera's spite and schemes. Tell me, who else among the unlucky has suffered as I? Or else, show me clearly what troubles await me. Is there a help or a cure for my illness?
I will tell you clearly all that you wish to know. I am Prometheus, who gave fire to mortals.
Alas, Prometheus, boon to mankind. For what do you pay this penalty?
I just reached the end of telling those troubles.
Then would you offer this small boon to me?
Ask what you will.
Who has bound you to this cliff?
Zeus made the plan. Hephaestus did the deed.
What sort of errors do you thus atone for?
I've made this clear already.
Then let me ask about the end of my wanderings. How much time it remains for my misfortunes?
It's better not to know this.
Whatever lies ahead, do not hide it from me.
I don't withhold it simply out of spite.
Why then will you not utter everything?
I grudge you not, but fear to break your spirit.
Do not take more care for me than what I would want.
It seems you are firm. I must speak.
No, not yet. Give us a portion too of pleasure. Allow us to first learn of her disease and let her tell the perils of her past. Then you may add a sequel to her suffering.
It's up to you, Io, to grant this favor, especially since they are your father's sisters. To make lament and to bewail one's troubles before an audience that will be moved to weep for them is hardly wasted time.
I don't see why I shouldn't trust all of you. You'll learn in clear words everything you ask, though telling it breaks truth. The gods sent storm that brought this transformation upon my body. Dream visions used to come and visit me in my maiden cheeks. They spoke to me with winning words. You, lucky, lucky girl, why stay so long a virgin when you can contract a royal marriage? Zeus himself has felt the heat of passion's dart for you. Don't spurn him. Go from your home towards Lerna's deepest meadow, there where your father keeps his flock and cow stalls, so that the eye of Zeus may cease from longing. Such dreams held me enthralled night after night until, downcast, I dared to tell my father about what I was seeing in the dark. He sent off swarms of messengers to ask at Delphi and Dodona what to do or what to say to satisfy the gods. They came back bearing slippery replies, obscure and hard to read, until one day a clearer instruction came to Inachus, charging him to thrust me from my home and from my native land and send me roving like some untethered beast in furthest realms, saying that if he did not, Zeus himself would send a fiery bolt to blot out all his kin. He trusted in these oracles of Apollo and drove me out, locked the doors against me. A heartache to us both, but forced upon him, for Zeus's reins were driving all he did. My shape and mind now both became contorted. My gait became mad, leaping as I went towards Lerna's spring and the sweet stream of Cershne. And I had horns! You see them? A stinging fly now grazed on me. And the earthborn herdsman Argus now walked beside me, watching with all his many eyes my every step. Until, suddenly, fate robbed him of his life. Meanwhile, why then? I ranged from land to land, the gods my goaders. You've heard what's happened. If you know anything about the toils ahead, speak out. Do not give me the comfort of false tales.
Keep her away! Keep her away! Never did I hear such alien words. I never thought my soul would ever be stuck like this. By suffering, outrageous terrors, hard to see and hard to bear. Alas for fate, the sight of Io fills me with fear.
Your groans and fearfulness have come too soon. Hold back a while, until you learn the rest.
Speak on and teach it. It is always best
one is ill to know the pains ahead.
The first of your requests has now been granted with help from me. You asked to hear the story of this girl's suffering from her own lips. Now hear the sequel, what must be endured by this young woman at the hands of Hera. Daughter Menacus, now heed these words that you may know the limits of your journey. When you leave here, head east toward the sun's risings and seek out the fields that have not known plow. You'll reach the nomad Scythians, whose straw homes rise off the ground up high, and whose weapons are the arrow and twanging bow. Do not approach them. Stay right by the shore as you pass by them. On your left hand, you'll find the workers of iron, who you must watch out for. They're brutal men, and do not take to strangers. You'll reach the Hybristes River, aptly named. Don't cross it. This is not a stream to ford. You'll follow it to Caucasus, highest of mountains. From its steep sides, the river gushes out in torrents. You must cross sky-grazing peaks and take a southern path to reach the Amazon host, haters of all males. These Amazons will gladly be your guides. You'll reach the isthmus by the narrow gates of the marsh. You must steel yourself to leave them and to swim the Maeotic Straits. Mortals will tell the legend of this crossing forevermore, and the place will get its name, the Cowford, Bosporus. This takes you out of Europe. You'll come to Asia. So now you see, the tyrant of the gods is even-handed in cruelty. He set her on these wanderings because he, a god, lusted for her, a mortal. How harsh a suit came to seek your hand, dear girl. For all I've said is but a prologue to your tale of woe.
No.
Again, you cry and moan. What will you do when you've learned your full forecast of evils?
Can there still be more trials left to tell?
Yes, a storm-tossed sea of woe and ruin.
Then what's the use of living? Why not jump this moment from the rock on which I stand? Smashed on the ground below, I would be free of all my troubles. Better to die once than live out all one's days in suffering.
How would my toils defeat you, since I am fated to endure them and not die? Death would be my relief from pain, but no. No endpoint lies ahead in my long labors, except the fall of Zeus from off his throne.
Fall of Zeus. But can that ever be?
You would rejoice to see that fall, I think.
How could I not? I am ruined thanks to Zeus!
Rejoice then, for this will indeed take place.
Then who will take away the tyrant's scepter?
My foolish plans, he'll strip it from himself.
What do you mean?
He'll make a marriage that will bring him grief.
With God immortal.
Don't ask me for a name that can't be spoken.
Then will his wife remove him of his throne?
She'll bear a child that can defeat his father.
There's no escaping this destiny.
There isn't. Until I'm freed from prison.
But who will free you if Zeus stands against it?
One of your offspring.
What? A son of mine will end your troubles.
The grandson of your 10th removed descendant.
Prophecies surpass my understanding.
Then don't seek out the secret of your future.
Do not offer me this boon and then refuse it.
I'll give you only one of two accounts.
Which ones? Say what they are, then let me choose.
Choose them. I'll either tell you what lies ahead in your tale of woe, or else tell you who will free me.
Give one to her, the other tale to us. Don't disregard the ones that crave your story. Tell her what still remains of wanderings. Tell us of your deliverer. That's my wish.
Since you're so eager, I will not refuse to tell you everything you wish to hear. But first you, the tale of the road on which you're driven. Inscribe my words on the tablets of your mind. When you cross the stream between the continents, head east toward the fiery risings of the sun. You'll cross a billowing sea, and then come to the plain of Gorgons, there where the daughters of Phorcys dwell. 3 ancient virgins like swans in form, sharing a single eye, each with one tooth. Near them, you'll find their 3 sisters, winged creatures, the Gorgons, snaky hair, reviled by mortals. No no one who looks upon them still draws breath. Guard against this as you would a hostile army. Now, hear your next unfriendly spectacle. Watch out for the sharp-beaked hounds of Zeus, the griffins, and the one-eyed horsemen who inhabit there. Avoid these men. You'll reach a distant land and a dark-skinned race that dwells by springs of the sun, there where the river flows. You'll follow along its banks until you reach a waterfall, where the Nile pours forth its sweet and sacred waters. This takes you to a three-sided land, the delta, where you, Aya, and your children are fated to found a thriving settlement.
If you skipped anything, or if there's more to tell about her ruinous wanderings, then tell it.
If that's all, then grant us the favor we requested.
You recall it?
She's heard it all, the end point of her journey. I'll tell the rest to both of you. A city, Cannabis, lies by the Nile, at the very tip of silt at the river's mouth. It's here Zeus will restore you to your wits by merely touching you with a harmless hand. You'll bear a dark-skinned child named Prometheus, in memory of how Zeus sired him. He will reap the fruit of all the lands the broad Nile waters. But his great-grandchildren, a clan of 50, all women, will return to Argos, your homeland, unwillingly, to avoid an incestuous marriage with cousins. These men, quivering with impatience, will chase the women, seeking out marriages they should not. The god won't let them have the women's bodies. They will be crushed by a boldness that lurks in the night. For each of the women will take the life of her husband. But passion will bewitch one of these women, stop her from slaying her bedmate. She'll prefer to hear herself called coward rather than blood-stained murderess. She's the one who will bear a royal race to rule in Argos. From her descendants, there will come a bold one, a famous archer, who will set me free from these travails. Such was the prophecy my ancient mother, Titan Venus, told me.
Forget it! The mind-shaking madness, it sets me ablaze! In fear, the gadfly, its sting burns like fire! In fear, my heart kicks against my chest, my eyes whirl round in spiral orbits. I'm off the track, beyond what's sane, blown by a raging wind, my tongue babbling. A torrent of words dashes disordered into the waves of my hateful folly!
Wise indeed, misleading who first weighed this in his mind and proclaimed it with his tongue. Marriage on equal terms is much the best lot. A poor farmhand ought not yearn for a spouse whose life has been made soft by wealth, or whose lineage contains exalted names.
Never, O fates, may you see me becoming the sheriff of Zeus's bed.
Never may I wed one of the sky dwellers. I'm afraid, as I look upon Io,
Her maidenhood, which lacked man's love, destroyed by Hera, with wanderings and hard travels. But if my marriage is on equal terms, I have nothing to fear.
Let not the passion of powerful gods cast inescapable eyes on me.
That's more that can't be plausible. Contriving things beyond contrivance.
who would I be?
For I can't see a way to flee from the guile of Zeus.
Zeus. However insolent his thoughts, Zeus will be humble. He's headed toward a marriage that will eject him from his tyrant's throne and make him nothing. Thus, his father's curse, the curse of Cronus, uttered as he fell from the throne he long had held, will be fulfilled. No one among the gods can tell him clearly how to avert these toils except for me. I know what's coming and how it will come. Let Zeus sit up there, trusting in thunderclaps, holding aloft the fiery lightning bolt. These weapons will do nothing to shield him from a shameful fall. He himself is preparing to beget his own opponent, a dangerous foe to fight, will discover a fire greater than any lightning and a crash louder than any thunder. He'll splinter the trident spear of Poseidon, that sickly staff he wields to shake the seas. Once broken by this evil, Zeus will learn how far apart his rule from slavery.
This prophecy is merely what you wish for.
It's what will come to pass, and what I want.
Zeus will be conquered. This is what awaits us?
He'll suffer pains more arduous than mine.
Why are you not afraid to make such boasts?
Why should I fear, since death is not my fate?
Zeus might send trouble worse than this.
Let him do so. I've foreseen it all.
It's wise to bow for necessity.
Go worship upon the ruler of the hour. This Zeus is less than nothing in my eyes. But look, the errand boy of Zeus is coming. The lackey of the tyrant's new regime. Doubt here to have some fresh decree.
You there, the clever one, the rebel's rebel, the one who wronged the gods who gave their honors to lowly humans, the famous thief of fire. My father orders you, reveal this marriage you boast about, the one that brings his downfall, and tell it all in detail. Don't use riddles. Don't give me reason to come back here again, Prometheus. You see that Father Zeus will not yield to idle threats like yours.
A lofty speech, and full of self-regard. How fitting for the bootlick of the gods. You young gods, new in rule, you believe you dwell in towers that never topple. Have I not seen twice already tyrants hurled from them? And I shall see a third, the one now reigning, fall shamefully and sued. Now do I tremble, or do I seem to fear these greenhorn gods? Not much. No, not at all. But as for you, trot back along the road on which you came. You'll find no answers to your questions here.
More insolence, the same kind as before that got you anchored in this misery.
Perhaps, but I choose punishment like mine over servitude like yours. Go think on that.
Oh, sure. To be servant to a rock is better than trusted messenger of Zeus.
An insult that insulters well deserve.
You seem to revel in imprisonment.
Revel do I? And may I see my foes reveling just like me, and you among them.
Do you hold me to blame for your misfortune?
I'll make this easy. I hate all the gods who hurt me so unjustly and still prosper.
Your words are proof. You're mad. Your mind's diseased.
If hating the gods is sick, then I'll be sick.
If you were well, you would be unbearable. What was that cry of pain? Zeus does not know it.
Just wait. Great lengths of time to teach every lesson.
If here you are, not learning to be wise.
True. Or I wouldn't be talking to you, chore boy.
Clearly you'll give my father no information.
I'd happily pay him back if he's got coming.
You taunt me as though I were a child.
But aren't you one? There's something even simpler if you believe you'll learn anything from me. There's no invention, no new form of torture Zeus could use to make me tell him this before he loosens these disgraceful shackles. Rain down the scorching fire on my head. Whirl everything into chaos. Let the air be filled with blizzards and the ground with thunder. Nothing of this will make me tell what I know, or at whose hand he must fall from off his throne.
You'd best consider, will this help your cause?
It's been considered and planned out long ago.
You were misguided. Look at your present woes, and bring yourself one day to change your mind.
You swamp me with a useless wave of words. Don't ever let this thought into your head, that I'll fear Zeus's judgment, turn soft-minded and kneel to supplicate the one I loathe, my hands held up to him to free me from these bonds. I'll never do it.
If I say more, I will be wasting words, since my words have not softened you. Rather you bite, like an unbroken colt, the bridle of your teeth, and fight the reins. But it is an unsound plan that fuels your rage. Your stubbornness, without the help of wisdom, is weaker by itself than everything. Consider, if you do not obey my orders, what storm of evils, what gigantic wave will break on you with no escape. My father will smash this rocky cliff with thunderclaps and fiery lightning bolts. He'll bury you.
entone you in an envelope of rock, and after an endless stretch of time goes by, you'll come back to the daylight. Now the eagle, that murderous bird, the winged hound of Zeus, will savagely slash tatters from your body. A daily visitor who comes to feast upon your mangled, blackened liver. And don't expect these sufferings to end until some god agrees to take your place and volunteers to go down into Hades. Take stock of this. It is not a boast or a fiction. The future I have described is all too real. The mountain Zeus does not know how to lie. Whatever he says will be. Just look around you. Consider then. Don't count on stubbornness, or ever think it better than good counsel.
It seems to us that Hermes speaks in season, bidding you let go your willfulness and choose instead good counsel, a wiser course.
Do as he says.
The wise should not do wrong.
All that he said, I knew he would say.
What's more, there's no shame if a foe will get his treatment from his foes. So let the two-edged sword of flame be hurled at me. Let the air be roiled with thunder and with winds in wild convulsion. Let the earth be shaken to its very roots. Let waves of sea foam up and flood the paths of stars as they cross the skies. Let him throw down my body into Tartarus' black pit with harsh tornadoes of force. There is no way that he can kill me.
One hears such words and schemes often from raving madmen. Such boasts are clearly striking wide of the mark, close to insanity. You there, who showed sympathy for this one's pains, leave this place and leave it fast, or else the cruel thunder's roar may destroy your wits.
Give us some other kind of command, and we might obey. The words you dragged in, we cannot tolerate. We will share with him that which we must. We've learned to hate those who turn traitor. There is no disease I spit on nor is treachery.
Well then, remember what I've said. And when you're caught in folly snares, don't blame bad luck. Don't ever say that Zeus hurled down ruin on you without forewarning. Don't, I tell you. You did this to yourselves, not suddenly or secretly or in ignorance, when you be coiled in blind folly's endless net.
So, in truth, not just in threats, the earth begins to quake. The crash of thunder rumbles back from the depths below. Bright curls of flame flash forth, and whirlwinds spin the dust. The clashing winds leap wildly about, vying as if in civil war, all against all. The upper air is mingled with the sea below. Such is the fearsome stroke of Zeus, leveled at me in sight of all. Majesty of my Mother Earth,
many falls when we have done this outdoors. This is certainly a big change for us to come inside. But I must say it is wonderful to be inside.